this should be my last Q&A. I just had probably, let's see, I've got them here. I've got about 10 questions here that came in after my first Q&A. So I'd just like to shout out some answers to these questions. So number one is, will you stay mostly in your tent or the shelters? So I plan on staying mostly in my tent. It depends. If it's a big rainy storm, it would be an advantage to stay in the shelter so I don't get my gear all wet. But the disadvantage that I really don't like about shelters are the mice and critters that creep about you during the night. So they also keep me awake at night. It wakes me up instantly because I just don't like it. So I wouldn't get much sleep if I did stay in the shelter, but not saying that I will not stay in any shelters, but mostly it will be my tent for sure. And I paid enough money for my tent that I should be sleeping in my tent. So yeah, so mostly tent. Then next up, will you do work for stays in the Whites? So if you're not familiar, in the Whites in New Hampshire, there are some huts that once you arrive, if you arrive on time and there's not a lot of people ahead of you trying to do this, I believe, I'm not real familiar with this, it's just what I've read, but I believe you can offer to work and they will allow you to stay on the floor in the hut for the night. Your work would consist of cleaning up. So I guess backing up, they serve food to hikers, like day hikers, through hikers, whatever, weekend hikers. And when they're done serving, you may have to help serve food. You'd be cleaning up after, yeah, and sweeping the floor and dishes and things like that. So that would be what you would be doing to pay for your stay. And then I believe your stay is just on the floor in the hut, just a warm, dry, well, I don't know how warm it is, but it is dry. It's a dry place to stay for the night. So, so will I do work for stays in the Whites? I honestly don't know. If I had to, if I was at that point where I needed a place to stay, because it's very limited where you can stay in the Whites, then I quite possibly would. I don't know. Like I said, it's just an experience that the whole trail is going to be an experience. And I'm just going to go with it. And I really can't answer that question. But I would be willing to do it if I had to. Next up is, where does the trail start and finish? So the trail starts in Georgia and it starts on the top of Springer Mountain. It ends on the top of Katahdin Mountain in Maine. I will be starting in Georgia. I will be doing the approach trail. So it's about an 8-mile trail from Amocalola Falls State Park. And it goes up to the top of Springer. So I'll have that extra day or the extra 8 miles of hiking planned for the trail. So next one up, how can I support your hike? I've had a few people reach out already. I actually have had good support, but I do in each of my videos put a link in the description where you can forward money through my PayPal account. Other than that, I don't really have any other way of you supporting me unless you're going to drive to the trail and maybe give me some trail magic. So next question is, how many pairs of shoes will you need? So they say that about every 400 miles, you're going to need a pair of shoes. So I'm looking at 4 to 5 pairs of shoes, depending, of course, on the shoe that you wear and how soft the tread is, and just different things like that. How fast the tread's actually going to wear out. So yeah, 4 to 5 pairs of shoes. Next up is explain your layering system. What is it? So let me grab my layering system. Just one second. So my layering system for clothes on the top would be my merino wool t-shirt is what I'm going to start out with. In the summer, I may have something lighter like a tank top. So we've got that, and that will be nice on just the warmer days. Then next up will be my Beyond the Trailhead Alpha 90 hoodie. And it's kind of like a fleece, but it's really thin and you can almost see through it. Well, you can somewhat. but it allows some more warmth, but allows the wind to blow through as well, so you're not getting real sweaty, because you don't want to be wet. And then I have my puffy jacket for in the evenings, so I can just wear this to keep me warm. I'll carry this throughout the whole trail because I've seen myself in the summer get cool in the evenings and just want something warm and cozy to throw on. So I have that. And the last part of my layering system actually is my raincoat. So I could have this on just over my t-shirt or over any of those layers. I made sure it was big enough so that I could wear it over any of those things. So hopefully that will keep me dry. And I also have this shirt, the 250 Merino Smart Wool shirt. I'm not sure if I'm taking this, but typically I would take this and sleep in this. So it would be something that would always stay dry. I don't hike in it. I get too warm when I'm hiking. So that would be my layering system. So it's just basically a lighter layer, and they just keep getting heavier, and they all have different purposes. Okay. So next up is a bear can required. So there is a section, I'm not sure how long it is. It's about 5 miles, I think, on the Appalachian Trail that requires a bear canister. If you're not sure what a bear canister is, this is a bear canister. It's heavy. In my mind, it's heavy. It's a couple of pounds. And you just take this cover off, put all your food in here, and then this goes in your pack or on the top of your pack or whatever. So you can see why a lot of people don't take these. A lot of people like them just because they can take these and sit on them as a stool. So there are pros and there are cons. I will not be taking mine. So is it required? Again, like I said, I can't quite remember. I want to say it starts in Gerard Gap and goes to Neil Gap. And you have to have a bear canister in that area, but I'm just going to stop prior to that area. I'll stay the night there, and then the next day I'll hike through that area down to Neil Gap. So it's only 5 miles, so not a big deal. Next up is there cell service on the trail? There is, off and on, mostly, you know, at the top of mountains and views. It depends on if you have AT&T, if you have Verizon, if you know, all the different services. I'm going to have AT&T, but I'm also going to have my Garmin so that I'll be able to send messages home to my family through my Garmin, which is my SOS device. So I highly recommend one of those if you don't have one. So next up is, am I wearing hiking boots or trail runners? I am wearing trail runners. I wear the Salomon Sense Ride. I might have to switch them out to something else when I get on trail because they're not real common, but I do well with Salomon shoes, so I'll see what I end up with. I do have one pair that I'm going to ship to myself. I only did one pair because they say that your feet can change so much on trail. So again, I just did the one pair, and then if I can't wear them, I'll just ship them back home anyway. So yeah, so Salomon trail runners for the win for me. Are you sending resupply boxes? And if so, where? I am sending them, and I'm actually looking at them right now. So I have 2 upstairs that are ready to go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 boxes, but 2 of them are going to the same spot. Okay, so the main reason I'm doing resupply boxes is because I have medication that I have to take. So I am going to be shipping some here and there, and I thought, well, I have a lot of backpacking meals and stuff, so why not ship them to myself instead of, you know, forking out more money for more meals. So this is what I'm doing. So my first box is going to Neil's Gap, and then the second one will be going to the Knock, and the third one I am sending to Fontana Village Resort. So that's right before I enter the Smokies. So I hear that's not a very good spot to resupply. Anyways, I sent a box with some good meals to get me through the Smokies, keep me warm. My fourth box, I don't know where I'm sending. That's the one that has my pair of shoes that I'm going to be shipping. So when I feel that my shoes need to be replaced, then I'll look ahead to see where I can get them sent and get them mailed there. So the next box would be the one that would hit probably closer to the middle of the trail. And I was thinking Harper's Ferry, but I actually found a hostel that everybody's been talking about, and they sound lovely. I've talked to them. I called them to get their details and everything, and they're just past Harper's Ferry and into Maryland, and it's called the Cross Trails Hostel. So I think by what I'm looking at and reading, I think it's something that I'm actually going to, like a place that I'm actually going to want to stay and maybe take a zero. I have a box going there. My next box, this one's up in the air. So Caratunk, Maine, I always heard did not have good resupply, but there is a new spot. I don't know if it's new, but it's a new spot that I've been hearing about, the Sterling Inn, and they seem to have a great resupply there. So I don't know if that box is actually going to be going or not. I'll wait and see. I might just leave that one and then resupply there. I don't know. Things change during the trail, and who knows? I just don't want to make a whole lot of plans. I just want to go by the seat of my pants, and I will let my husband know whether to mail that box or not. So I'll go from there. And then the last two boxes are going to Shaw's Hiker Hostel in Maine. I know they have a good resupply, but like I said, I have a lot of meals that really I could use up. So I'm going to ship my two boxes to Shaw's. I say two boxes because I have enough meals to actually get me through the 100-mile wilderness. I'll just ship them all. So that's what I've got going on with resupply boxes. So they're all addressed and ready to go. I just can't tape them up because my husband has to drive them across the border, and they may want to look inside to make sure that there's nothing that shouldn't be in there when crossing the border. And lastly, one of my supporters of this channel, Terry Hunter, I really want to thank him. He's been a great supporter since the first of this journey, and he's asking, what do I do to prepare mentally? This is a hard question for me to answer because I typically am pretty strong in that area, and I honestly just keep my mind focused right now on getting ready and getting on trail, and then I don't worry about things until they're actually happening. It's just the way I was built, the way I am. I don't really look ahead too far unless necessary. But like right now, I'm just focused on, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, this is left to do, and just do that. And then when this is done, my next focus will be, getting there. So we'll hop in the truck and on our way we'll go. And so it's going to hit me probably right on trail. I have read the Appalachian Trials book, which helps prepare you a little bit and what to expect. Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of hard to answer that question. You really don't know until you're in that situation. So hopefully I do okay. So I think that's the last of my questions. Yeah, so this is going to be my last Q&A unless I get like a plethora of questions again, and I can do a short little one to cover those or just comment back on your questions. But anyways, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.